It's absolute bullshit that retention marketing doesn't get more praise and recognition in the e-com, D2C, Twitter world. Everyone only wants to talk about Facebook ads because running Facebook ads is the most lucrative way to run an agency and it's the easiest way to make money as a freelancer. But Facebook ad tactics, I think, are such a small piece of what can make an e-com brand successful. It's why this is the 9th episode of my podcast, and I haven't gotten into my Facebook ad strategy yet. I promise it's coming, but I just didn't think it was that important to include in the first 9 episodes. So today I'm going to deep dive on some retention tactics, specifically 3 plain text email campaigns that have printed money for us. This episode of Tactical and Practical is sponsored by Intelligems. And just so you don't think I'm shilling software just for a check, here are all the screenshots of me publicly promoting Intelligems before they ever sponsored my podcast. Intelligems really has been one of the key things that has helped us grow top and bottom line in the last year. We use it to split test pricing, content, and different landing pages on our website, and each test ends up being really, really impactful to our business. If you haven't been running true split tests on your website, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You should go to intelligems.io, sign up for a demo, tell them I sent you so you can keep supporting the podcast and so you can add dollars to your bottom line today. All right. The goal of our plain text emails, and what I think the goal for most retention marketing should be to accomplish 2 things. One, you want to build trust and familiarity with your audience. And second, you want to sell product. I'm tired of people thinking that marketing can either build brand or generate direct response sales. I think great marketing can and should do both at the same time. So I'm going to run through the examples of plain text email campaigns that I've sent to our customers in the last year that build trust and respect and familiarity and also generated a ton of revenue. Now, to execute these, we developed a character to send frequent messages from. This helps us build that trust and familiarity right away when customers start to get to know the person on the other end of all these, marketing emails that they're getting. For us at Original Grain, that character is me. We call him Nate, the marketing guy. Sometimes I call him Nate, the whiskey guy, but we'll get into examples of that in a minute. But let's pull up this first one. I'm going to read and put on the screen some of our best plain text emails in this podcast, so feel free to watch on YouTube or Twitter. If you're listening to the audio, I appreciate you, but it might be a little bit easier to see this visually, but I will read them out loud as well. This first one was towards the beginning of our Father's Day sale this year, and the subject line was, "My dad texted me this morning," and the preview text was, "He's not happy." Then I say, "Hey, it's Nate, OG's marketing guy, and I hope your Saturday is off to a better start than mine. I woke up to this text from my dad this morning." And it's a screenshot of a text that says, "Hey, ... Father's Day is in 2 weeks, ... Get me something better than last year, please." I don't know how your guys' dad texts, but that's how mine texts all the time. Then I say again, "To be honest, I don't remember what I got him last year, and that probably means it was a crappy gift. But 2 years ago, I got him a watch from Original Grain, and he loves that thing and wears it every day. So I'm going to upgrade his watch collection again this year. I highly recommend you do the same. And starting today, when you buy a watch, you'll receive a free $50 gift card to use on your next watch purchase. So click here, save up to $100 off buying one of our best watches, and you'll be emailed your $50 gift card to use on another purchase in the future." Now, I do a few subtle things in this email that really make a difference. First, I share a personal and relatable thing, that being a screenshot of my dad's text. That's something that you might get from your brother or might get from your mom, but that's not something customers expect to see in their inbox from a brand that they subscribe to or a brand that they are a customer of. So sending an email that starts off that way really stands out in their inboxes. Next, I share a pain point that a lot of people have, not knowing what to get their dad or giving him a bad, boring gift. But then, as we move further into the email, I think back to one of the best gifts I've ever gotten him, which was a watch from Original Grain. And I tell people that this year I'm going to upgrade his watch collection again. Now, this is subtle but really important. The majority of the people who received this email are past customers. So they've already bought a watch from us, and most likely they've bought a watch from us for a gift for someone else. So my goal here is to kind of give them permission, give them a pass to be like, hey, you can buy a gift from the same place again, because it'll still upgrade his collection. It's still a new great thing that he'll cherish for years to come. It's not lazy, and it's not, cheap to get him something from the same store that you've shopped at before. It's now being framed as an upgrade from someone you trust, because I've related to you on a personal level by this point in the email. Now, the last thing in this email that you should do in all of your plain text campaigns, I hyperlink like the whole sentence or the whole paragraph that I want people to click on. I include the words "click here" in the hyperlink. I think it's really easy for links to get lost when you're just doing a plain text campaign. So I make the whole thing blue and bold and underlined, and I say "click here to save," and then whatever the offer is. Now, that was the first email. Absolutely crushed for us this Father's Day. We're going to run something similar next Father's Day. We might just run something similar for Christmas, but come up with your own variation with this. Please don't everyone just do the screenshot of my dad's text thing. That will ruin it for everyone. But come up with a way to relate to your customers when it comes to gift giving, and kind of give them that pass to buy from you again and again and again, because hopefully you have multiple products to offer them where each gift can be an upgrade to that person's collection. All right, next email. It was announcing the end of our Cyber Monday BOGO sale from last year. The subject line was, "Last call sucks, but someone's got to call it." And then the body says, "I absolutely hate when a bartender announces last call, and now I have to be the guy to deliver that same bad news. This is the last call on our Cyber Monday BOGO deal. 91 of you have taken advantage of this deal already, and that means there's only a handful of codes left. Buy one watch, get the second for 60% off. Click here to shop our top timepieces, add any 2 watches to your cart, and use code BOGO60 at checkout. If you're one of the first 100 customers to use that code, the lower priced watch will be discounted to 60% off. Thank you to the 91 of you who have joined the OG crew today, and thank you to the next 9 of you who will be joining us in just a few minutes." From Nate, OG's whiskey guy. Now, let's dissect this email a little bit. This is coming at the end of Cyber Monday. We sent it around 7 p.m. that night. So everyone who has received this email has received like 40 emails from us in the last 4 days and have not bought. So this is our kind of last ditch effort to get some of these people across the finish line. Our Cyber Monday offer was this buy one, get one half off deal that we're promoting. So they've already gotten the email and the text that morning that told them to take advantage of this deal. Now, it's important to note that I do not say in this email, there's only 9 codes left. There's a very fine line between selling on scarcity and fear-mongering, and you don't want to cross it. Scarcity is great to let people know that there are, limited products or codes or whatever, but when you keep hammering, there's only 9 left, or there's only 30 minutes left, you can actually create a lot of fear and panic in your customers. And there are studies that have been done that actually show marketing like that increases the rate of returns from your customers, because you're essentially scaring people that didn't want to buy into buying, and then they show buyer's remorse later. So you don't want to hit that too hard. What I do instead is the first email of the day said it was going to be the first 100 customers. Then this email really focuses on, thanks to the 91 of you who have gotten it already, and I'm excited to meet the next 9 of you that are going to be joining us in just a few minutes. Now, that clearly communicates the urgency and the scarcity that's going on here, without shouting from the rooftops, "Hurry, there's only 9 left," because every other email in their inbox that day sounded like that. It sounded like, "Hurry up, it's ending, you don't want to miss it, be scared of missing this deal." That's not what you want to be shouting at your customers. Instead, I say thank you to the 91 of you who have joined our crew today, and thanks to the next 9 of you who will be joining shortly. Again, I make sure to say click here in the hyperlink. I make sure the deal is clearly explained. It's a little bit redundant, but I think clarity here was our top priority, and performance on it was fantastic. Now, one thing I'll note on this, when it comes to building trust, there's one thing you'll never see from Original Grain emails as long as I'm here. You will never see a sale extended email. I think that is one of the worst thing that's become a common practice of brands that I look up to and respect. And I get it. It makes money. But our audience by this point knows when Nate, OG's marketing guy, tells them the sale is ending, the sale is ending. We will not follow up in the morning with a sale extended or there's still time. That is not part of our playbook, because our retention playbook is founded on building trust and building familiarity to get sales, not hacky retention tactics. So trust here is super important. So they know when I do send an email that says I'm excited for the next 9 of you to join us in the next few minutes, that if they want to be one of those 9, they have to buy right now, because after that, the deal is going away. All right. Now, this last email is my favorite email I have ever sent in my 9 years of e-commerce marketing. And it started from a real scenario. This was not part of the email calendar. This was not part of the promotion playbook. But this March, I hosted the CEO and one of my employees out to Greenville, South Carolina for a few days. And it was towards the end of our partnership with Buffalo Trace Bourbon. So the 3 of us went out to a nice rooftop bar, and we got a round of Buffalo Trace Old Fashions. After the first round, Ryan, CEO, co-founder, my boss, he called it a night. And he told me, as the next highest ranking employee there, he said, "Hey, I'm leaving my credit card at the bar, so if you guys want to have another drink or two, that's fine. Just grab my card, close out when you're done, and you can give me the credit card back in the morning." Then Chris and I had like 7 more drinks each. and to be honest, I didn't realize that the cocktails were each $21, so the bar tab was way more money than we thought it was going to be. And when we got the receipt, we just kind of laughed about it, and we were like, oh, damn, kind of went overboard. It was funny to see that they listed out each Buffalo Trace Manhattan individually, and so funny to just see us kill 14 cocktails in 2 hours. And yeah, at the time, we laughed about it. And then the next morning, I had to pick up both those guys at like 8 a.m. to go get coffee, and everyone's a little bit foggy, and we're all quiet. And I had my boss's credit card and the receipt in my wallet, and I handed it to him. And he grabs it and he goes, I saw the notification come through on Amex for over $300, and I thought that must have been a mistake. I was like, no, it wasn't a mistake. I wanted to really show Chris a good time, wanted to celebrate the collection with Buffalo Trace coming to an end. But I told him it'd be fine, because I told him I could turn it into content that builds trust and familiarity with our audience, and it would generate more than enough profit to cover the bar tab. So this is the email that we sent just a couple hours later. The subject line was "My bar tab from last night," and the preview text was, "I put it on my boss's card." The email said, "Hey, it's Nate, the marketing guy here at OG, and I'm asking you for a big favor. Last night I took my coworker out for some drinks to bid farewell to our Buffalo Trace watch collection. Unfortunately, we didn't realize that each collection was $21. That's a little steep for our taste, so when my boss saw the charge come through, he wasn't thrilled. But that's where you come in. We have less than 100 Buffalo Trace watches left before they're all sold out, and if just a few of you click here and purchase one today, that'll help me out big time. You get a piece of bourbon history to wear on your wrist, and I get to keep my job. It's a win-win. Thank you, Nate, OG's whiskey guy." And we put a picture of the receipt in the email. It's still funny to see that receipt. But this email does a couple things up top. When it comes to building trust and familiarity, I think there's nothing more relatable than getting a bar tab or getting a restaurant bill dropped on your table and you open it and it's way more than you thought it was going to be. I think we've all had the mornings after a night out where you look at your credit card history and you went, oh, shit, did I really spend $300 last night? I think that's a relatable feeling for a lot of our customers. So kind of opening with that and being vulnerable and, having the feeling of like, oh, is my boss going to be mad at me because I put this bar tab on the company card? Again, it just tears down a lot of the walls. It tears down a lot of the, kind of emotional block that people might have as they're reading an email from a brand, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like an email coming from their buddy Nate, who they have gotten to know because I've sent them 40 emails in the last year, and they all kind of have this tone of, I'm just talking to a friend, to a drinking buddy. So builds trust right away, and then it doesn't quite guilt people into it, but it lets them know that there's a way that they can help this character. And I hate to say character because it feels like I'm faking it. I'm not, but they've gotten to know me, and this is a way for them to help me out and do me a solid, plus get an amazing piece of bourbon history for themselves. And this email ripped. Ryan's not mad at me anymore. What's worse is now that I know this works, we're going to do it again for Christmas with our Jack Daniels collection, so I'm very excited for that. Although I think I'm going to be in way rougher shape when I drink $300 worth of Jack Daniels than $300 worth of BT. But maybe I'll get some friends out there so I don't have to wear that all on me. But those are 3 of probably 20 plain text emails in the last year that have absolutely ripped for us. So please do me a couple of favors. First, start to understand exactly who your customers are. Think about if your customers were your buddies, if they were your friends that you're in a group chat with, what are the types of things that you would email them and text them about? Start sending campaigns that look and feel a lot more like that. Develop an authentic character to represent your brand in your customers' inboxes. Doing this has been such an unlock for us because now people don't think they're getting an email from a regional grain watch company. They feel like they're getting an email from their fun buddy Nate that likes to booze a little bit. Their friend Nate that they know sticks to his word, and when he says something, he means it. Because I've built up this trust and reliability with them. Don't overuse this tactic. We probably do it, I said 20 times in a year. It is probably, once or twice a month during normal months. That'll increase during, our Father's Day and Christmas sales. But it's not something to overuse, but it's something to kind of pick your spots with. Lastly, highly, highly encourage you to remain authentic and true to what you're going to tell these people. So much of this is relying on building real trust with your audience. I think that can be said for all of retention, but especially when it comes to these email campaigns. So please do that. Please don't just copy exactly what I did here. That's hacky, but you can find a way to do it authentically for your brand and create these plain text emails that build trust and familiarity and also generate a shit ton of revenue, because that's what these 3 emails have done for us. Thanks so much for listening to Tactical and Practical. I'll see you next time.